Hi, I'm Frank Perry, and I'm on Musicians on the Record, so let's get and be symmetrical.
Hi, welcome to Musicians on the Record. I'm David Ward. This is the show where we get the musician's story, and we bring you special topics from time to time. Today, we are talking with Long Island drummer Frank Perry. He's on the show to talk about what the heck is a symmetrical drum kit. Welcome, Frank.
Thank you, David.
Thanks for being here. Let's talk a little bit about first who you are, how long you've been playing drums for, and which global ambassador are you connected to?
My name is Frank Perry. I've been playing drums for about 32 years now. Yeah. I got started a little later. It was the summer before my senior year of high school. I bought a drum set and just started playing.
Wow.
I got frustrated really quick and sought out teachers, and I've been pretty much studying ever since. So I've studied with some people that actually Dom studied with, so Charlie Perry. I've studied, of course, with Dom Familaro. I've studied with a drummer on Long Island named Mike Sorrentino. I've taken lessons with Klaus Hessler. I'm currently studying with Stephen Chamberlain. Cool. I've studied with Mike Lauren, who used to be in the Drummers Collected. I've taken lessons with Tommy Campbell. I've taken lessons with Marco Miniman.
Yeah.
So,
some big names there.
Yes.
Yeah, amazing. So that's some pretty big names then that teaching. And just at around 17 or so, you wanted to play the drums. Where did that come from?
When I was about 12 or 13, I saw The Kids Are All Right, the Who movie.
You bet. Yeah.
And the one segment where they're very young and they're playing the song Shout and Shimmy.
Yeah.
And Keith Moon busts into this fill, and I was just like,
yeah. Right.
I want to do that.
Sure.
And it took me a little while, to get rolling as far as that goes. But once I started, it's been, I guess, an obsession, Like Dom says, we don't choose the drums choose us.
Right.
So, I started studying, and I really haven't stopped.
That's great. That's fantastic.
So,
yeah. And the folks were all supportive of you getting the first drum set at 17 or so?
No.
No.
No, I used to run home after school to practice before they got home because they didn't want to hear it.
Right.
They assured me it was just a phase.
Right.
And now, here it is, 30-something years later, and I'm still going. And, I don't think they really understand what I do, and that's fine. My father, was a pipe fitter for 50 years. My mom was a nurse, so they're, very hardworking, sure. Folks. And I had this fire in me, and I just, I couldn't, sit in an office or anything else. I mean, I've done a lot of jobs. I've driven trucks and done everything I had to. It was in 2000, my wife and I moved down to Florida, and I got a job at Guitar Center. And while I was there, I discovered I was more interested in educating people than being like, here, buy this $5,000 drum set because it looks really nice.
Right.
I was more into finding, what are you using this for? How do you play and this and that? And then I started community college down there. And then the teacher there, he introduced me to orchestral percussion, which was interesting for me because I had never done, like snare drum etudes or played a marimba or a vibraphone or anything like that. So that was really interesting for me. Yeah. And then we left Florida and we came back to Long Island, and I was like, all right, I'm going to go for music education. And then I wound up at Five Towns College on Long Island. And I got my bachelor's in music education from there. And then I did my master's at Stony Brook University. Okay. And the rest, as they say, is history, I guess.
Yes.
I've done, I've taught middle school orchestra and middle school band and everything else. And so, I can play pretty much every instrument.
Oh, that's incredible. So you have a master's degree in music education.
I have a bachelor's in music education. My master's is in liberal studies with an emphasis on music. That was, for It's a New York State requirement that you have to get your master's within a certain time. Okay. So I just kind of did that just to kind of get it done. And now I'm contemplating going for my doctorate.
Wow, very cool, man.
So,
and you in addition to drums, we were talking, you play violin. What else do you play?
I can play all of the string instruments, so violin, viola, cello, and string bass. Oh. I can play piano. I can play all the brass instruments, so trumpet, trombone, French horn, tuba, euphonium, all the woodwind instruments, so flute, clarinet, all the saxophones.
Holy cow.
All the percussion instruments, so I can play marimba and xylophone and vibraphone and all of those. And I play a little guitar, you know. Little guitar, a little bass, you know.
That's incredible. Take that, Dave Grohl. Frank Perry's coming to get you. That's awesome, Frank. Wow, holy cow. So you also teach, right? This is your day job. You teach music. Where do you teach?
I teach in the Connecticut district. I teach at Oakdale Middle School.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And also, you are connected with Dom Famularo, and you do his social media. Can you talk a little bit about Dom and how you guys got connected and how that all started?
I started studying with Dom in 2004. I just, called him up, got a lesson, and went down. And I had a good foundation from studying with people on the island who studied with Dom. And they were like, if you want to take this to the next level, you got to go to the source. So I went to Dom and, continued to study with him while I was doing my undergrad. Like, my wife was his assistant for a short time. So, she used to book all his lessons and everything like that. And then Dom started talking to me about, taking over his social media. So I did. And it just kind of escalated from there. His regular Facebook page, he was at his friends limit, and he's like, what do I do? I'm like, all right. So we started a fan page, and then, with the Twitter, and then his YouTube now, all of those videos, I put together all those videos. Like in the Wisdom Drum Shed with Dom Famularo, I put all those together, and, so that, has taken off. He had, like 300 subscribers, and now we have over 1,000. So
great. And he's got an Instagram page as well that you must be doing.
Yes, right? The Instagram as well. Yeah. That's been really good. It's challenging to find pictures that I haven't used already. So I'm always kind of trolling the internet looking for pictures of Dom and and snaking them here and there. And I use the quotes from his book, and and
the cycle of self-empowerment. Correct.
The cycle of self-empowerment. Yes.
Yes. Great.
And with his recent Drumeo appearance that he did,
that was awesome.
We've gotten a lot more Instagram followers from that. So that's that's bumped us up probably about 2,000 followers just from his Drumeo appearance.
That's incredible.
So that was really
Yeah, I mean, incredible stuff that he's doing and his teaching as well. It's so cool that you're doing all of this teaching yourself, Frank. And if students want to connect with you, you do private lessons as well, correct?
Yes.
How can they connect with you?
They can find me at frankperrymusic.com. All my information is on there. They can email me through there. You can email me at frankperrymusic@gmail.com. Twitter, Frank Perry Music. Instagram, Frank Perry Music. Facebook, Frank Perry Music. So
I'm noticing a trend here, Frank.
Yes. Just make sure you got the music in there because there are a lot of Frank Perrys.
Yeah, I noticed that, actually.
Yes, so, and probably one of the most famous ones was the director of Mommy Dearest.
Oh, okay.
He was a director, and that was one of his big. So if you just type in Frank Perry, that's probably the first one that's going to pop up is the director.
Sure. Very cool. And you teach online lessons, in person, both?
Yep.
Okay. Great.
Yep. Yeah. So, I Skype or FaceTime lessons. Yeah. You can come to my studio. I can go to you. So, provided it's it's not too far, and you're in the same state, or
it's not Tupelo or Oklahoma, or so it's got to be in New York,
exactly.
right? Yeah,
exactly.
But people can take lessons with you online from anywhere in the world. That's very cool.
Yes.
We have the technology today. So,
yes.
So the topic we were talking about that got us connected was a symmetrical drum kit. Please say more about what is a symmetrical drum kit.
All right, so I've dubbed it ambisymmetrical. So you have ambi meaning both and symmetrical meaning the same. So both sides of my kit are essentially the same. When I first started it, I used the offset pedals. So it's a middle pedal.
Yes.
So your beaters are in the center, and then you have two sets of linkage connected to two pedals. So your bass drum is dead center right in front of you. So I had bass drum, and I had one rack tom and then two floor toms, and then I used two regular hi-hat stands, and then two ride cymbals, two crashes, two chinas, everything like that. It's since evolved. In 2014, I was endorsed by Mapex.
Cool.
So I said, hey, I'm going to capitalize on this.
You bet.
So I ordered one of their identity sets, so I switched it up a little. So now I have two rack toms, two floor toms, and I actually have a smaller snare up top.
A smaller snare? Interesting.
Yes, wow. Yeah. So, but everything else, I still have my two hi-hats, my two rides, my crashes, my chinas, and then my effect cymbals. And basically this started, when I was doing my undergrad, my right leg just kind of stopped working. And I was like, this is not good. Right. So, I went to an orthopedist, and, I had the surgery done, torn meniscus and everything like that. Oh, no. And when I was in college, I used to do a lot of the musicals. Okay. So for the last musical that I did, I just set up left-handed. And nobody noticed. Yeah. So I thought, okay, this could work. So I just started working on my left foot. And so, of course, I went to Dom with this. And he's like, and I was like, I was thinking of, of a setup where, you have a bass drum and then a hi-hat and a ride cymbal and everything, and then another bass drum and everything like that. He's like, nah, get one of those middle pedals and try that. And I did, and I ran with it. And, as always, Dom, he's my biggest advocate. So, that's why, when I was over there at the time, he's like, you should interview him.
Right. Absolutely.
So, and, it really kind of opens up your playing, because I can play traditional right-handed, I can play open right-handed, I can play traditional left-handed or open left-handed, or any kind of combination, depending on the music that I'm playing, or the situation that I'm in.
Right. And I remember Dom saying he got that idea from a happy accident with Billy Cobham, that they set up his drum set like that, if I remember correctly, by mistake. Has he ever told you that story?
Oh, like the backwards?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it sounds like this was really born out of necessity, Frank.
Yes.
When I heard you say your leg stopped working, I just thought it meant you couldn't really go further with development on your own. You're talking about a medical condition that you needed to take care of. So even if somebody doesn't have a medical condition, what are the pros and cons of having a ambisymmetrical kit like this?
The biggest thing I've found in my teaching studio is if I have a left-handed student, I don't have to switch anything up. Yeah. They can come and sit down and play, so they can play righty, they can play lefty. Right. It really, that opened it up. I have so much fun with it, because it's just, when we're using the 2 foot hi-hats, it's fun. You can do things like that. I'll break up like a samba pattern between my feet. So I'll play right bass drum, left hi-hat, left bass drum, right bass, or right bass drum, left, right, you know, and I'll just kind of mix it up like that, you know, doing the Marco Miniman-ish, you know, type foot patterns, you know, like, you know, breaking up double strokes and things like that. Yeah. Cons, it's to just do, you know, like gigs with this, it's kind of cumbersome, you know, to bring 2 hi-hat stands and have everything like that. You know, when I do play out, I usually just use my regular right-handed setup, and I'll use a drop clutch. So, you know, if I need to use my left foot, you know, with a closed hi-hat, I'm able to do that. If I really need, I can just bring another, you know, bring a hi-hat, a legless hi-hat stand and just kind of connect it to the bass drum, and then have both, you know, with a traditional double pedal. So.
Excellent. And you mentioned Keith Moon as a major influences.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, mine too. Love Keith. Any other favorite drummers who you have been influenced by?
So many. Yeah. So many. 2 of my earliest influences were Rod Morgenstein with the Dixie Dregs.
Yeah.
And Joe Franco with a Long Island band called the Good Rats.
Cool. I don't know Joe. Yeah.
Yeah, he was, you know, I used to go see them all the time, and he's like a jazz drummer, but he uses a lot of double bass, and you know they were really good. You know, they were a Long Island bass band, but you know they opened for Rush and Kiss, and you know they had some you know some notoriety that way.
That's awesome.
But those were 2 of my, you know, along with, you know, John Bonham and Neil Peart and Ringo and everybody else, and you know, now it's Mike Portnoy now, and you know, a lot of those, you know, types of and Marco Miniman, of course, and you know, I just love, you know, the musician's music, you know, where you can't really bob your head and that. Right. You know, kind of stuff. But mostly the stuff I play is stuff where you bob your head.
Right, exactly. So, and did I hear you correct earlier? You said you took lessons with Marco Miniman?
Yes.
Am I saying that right?
Yes, Marco Miniman.
Yeah. Can you talk about Marco and your experience with him and just what you love about him as a drummer?
First of all, he's got blazing chops, which, you know, and he's got a great feel, and his independence was, I think, probably what drew me to him, you know, because he can play, you know, 5 in his right hand and 7 in his left hand and 3 with his right foot and 4 with, you know, so he's just, you know, it's 3 over 4 over 5 over 7 and this over that, and he's just such a sweet person as well. And, you know, it really, you know, I'm still working on the stuff that we did, you know, mostly from his books and everything like that.
Sure.
And that, you know, he would come to town, and, you know, we would always go and see him and always say hello and everything. And he's, you know, all the success he's had, he well deserved, because he is, you know, he works so hard. And his solo material, he puts out albums like every 6 months. Wow. That he plays all the instruments and writes all the music. Wow. And it's just, they're incredible.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, and he's playing all those time signatures, different hands and feet, while reading Shakespeare at the same time. He's another level, right?
Yeah, and chewing gum and making coffee and scratching his back. You know, it's so.
Yeah, it's amazing. Excellent. Now, I'm fascinated. I have been looking at these drum pedals that you have for a while now, considering them. Tell us about the offset drum pedals, please.
You have to get used to them at first.
Okay.
Because you're using 2 slave pedals. So it's you don't have the instant, you know, you hit the pedal and the bass drum is right there. But I've found that I can do a lot more with them. Okay. Like, I can play double stroke rolls with my feet, which I still really can't do on a traditional double pedal.
Okay.
So they're great. I mean, I love them, you know, especially, you know, doing the ambi-symmetrical setup and everything like that. You know, the response is great, the feel is great. Again, it does take a little getting used to as far as doing that, but they're it's if you can, do it and get them, I highly recommend them.
And so are you saying that there's a slight delay when you're hitting these pedals from a normal single or double pedal?
Kinda.
Okay.
Like I say, at first it takes some getting used to, but once you're used to it, it's kind of instantaneous.
Okay.
There is a slight delay, because you have to hit the pedal and then the linkage has to activate the beater.
Yes.
So that's
right. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
But with my foot, that would probably just be the same, because I have a double pedal and the left pedal is the slave.
Right.
But that's just because my left foot sucks, quite frankly. So, so it's going to be bad no matter what. So okay, great, yeah. So and so just some time and practice that somebody would need if they're trying these pedals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just and like, actually, on this kit, I use an older style one, which I had gotten some years ago, just because I'm more used to it. I have a newer one on my pad station. And it, of course, the technology has come along. So the newer ones are definitely better. But I'm used to this one, and I just love it. And
that's Phoenix Drum Company, is that right, Frank?
I think it's offset pedals now.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure the company changed hands. So they're being made in Colorado now. Okay. I believe.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I thought, because I think it's Phoenix who bought them, actually, because the guy who developed them, I think, did sell the company. Any pros and cons about the pedals?
I can't really think of any cons. They're like I say, it does take a little getting used to using two slave pedals, but once you're used to it, right. It's great. You can you can fly on them. So
it's fantastic. So if someone is wanting to get ambi-symmetrical drum kit, Frank, what would you suggest they start with?
They should probably start with the middle pedal.
Okay.
Okay. You can do it with a traditional double pedal. Mm-hmm. But then you're going to be attaching a hi-hat to, you need a legless hi-hat stand to attach to your bass drum as far as that goes. And then with a traditional double, it makes it a little strange depending on how you set up. If you have your toms mounted on your bass drum, it makes it easier to do if your toms are mounted on your bass drum.
Right.
I have everything set up on a rack. Okay. So when I send you the video, I'll give you the whole scope of the kit. Definitely. But my toms and everything are set up on a rack, and then my bass drum is free, and then the pedal, and then the hi-hats, and then the floor toms, and it's everything's kind of right there.
Yeah, and the thing I love about the pedals too is that you can put your snare sort of right in the middle.
Right.
And the two hi-hats right on each side of you, right? Yeah. Yep. And that's a little bit different than having the two bass drums, right? Because in some ways, with an ambi-symmetrical, you could have two bass drums, correct?
Yes, that's something else I've been thinking about. Okay. And I dubbed that the two kit concept. So say maybe to my right I would have my big bass drum, and then a 13-inch tom and maybe an 18-inch floor tom over there, and then to my left maybe I would have a 20-inch bass drum and a 10-inch tom, and then maybe a 16 or a 14-inch floor tom, and again I would use two hi-hats and the different ride cymbals. So if I wanted to play jazz, I could play jazz on my left side, and if I wanted to play rock, I could play rock on my right side. Yeah. So.
It's amazing. So this is real independence, what we're talking about. That's the overall purpose of this, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I've even gone so far as to take exercises from the new breed, where from the new breed 1, where the bulk of it you're actually working your right foot. Okay. And I take it and I switch it, and I'll work it with my left foot on the bass drum, and then I'll have my right foot will do the hi-hat patterns. And then I can, so I can use my left hand on a ride cymbal and have my right foot playing the hi-hat, and then my left foot reading the bass drum, and then my right hand playing the snare drum. So
amazing. Yeah. You are inspiring me to go play the drums right now, Frank. It's very cool. I'll be right back. Excuse me. No.
Then my work here is done.
Right. Exactly. You're teaching the world, Frank. Where would you like your music to go?
Everywhere. I just want people to hear it and appreciate it. I don't. That's the great thing about music, is that it is universal and it crosses all language boundaries and everything like that. So it's, whoever wants to hear my, music, just open your ears and if you like it, great. If you don't, that's great too.
Right.
It's, if you can take one thing from it, awesome. Yeah, if it makes you feel something, great. If it makes you happy, cool. If it makes you angry, that's okay too.
Right. Well, hopefully it wouldn't make people angry. It's just music, right? So
yeah. Well, some of the stuff I used to play back in the day was pretty heavy.
The metal stuff we're talking about, right?
Yes, exactly.
Got it. Excellent.
Yeah. I mean, I've come a long way since then. I'm still very proud of some of the recordings that I did back then. Because it was pretty intense.
Yeah.
Pretty intense music, but
yeah. What?
Now I'm more about, getting in a pocket and making people groove and having it feel good. And, I guess we mellow out as we get older.
Right. Yes, exactly. A little bit. Yeah. Was there a dream at one point that, I'm on my 11th dream at this point, but was there a dream that was different? You've clearly done very well of teaching music, very highly educated. Was it a different dream earlier on?
When I first started, I wanted to be the studio guy. I wanted to be the Steinman Phillips, the Steve Gadd, the guy that you call. I come in and I'll lay down a nice tasty groove or something interesting and have it go from there. I never really wanted the whole rock star thing or anything like that. I know a lot of rock stars and they work really, really hard.
Right.
Not knocking, what I do or what anyone does, but, most of the rock stars I know, they work really, really hard. So, and, I would take the fortune part.
Right.
The fame I could live without. The fortune part I'll take. But I'd like to thank everyone at Mapex Drums. They've been so supportive of me over the years. I have to thank Dom, of course, who, without him, I wouldn't have met you, and, all he's done for me over the years as well. Thank everyone at Evans Drumheads and ProMark Drumsticks, especially my friend Steve Loebmeyer, who works there. He's the sweetest man ever, and he's just a really good friend, and he's just, we have so much fun together.
That's awesome.
And have to thank my wife for putting up with me for now 20 years. We'll be married 20 years in October.
Congrats. That's great.
And she's always, very supportive of me. She's, she put me through college, and so it's,
wow.
She's.
Yeah. And what will be the decision as far as whether to go for your doctorate or no?
Right now, it's a financial issue.
Sure. Yeah.
So
real life.
We're digging ourselves out of a hole right now, but eventually, because that is something that I've always wanted to achieve for myself.
That's great.
So, and again, that opens more educational opportunities as well to teach in universities and things like that. So,
okay. Yep, there you go. So it could be a good investment then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes. But it's having the money to pay for it now. So, and then get the return on that investment.
Right.
So
no question. Yeah. How do you find the balance? If I can ask you one more question too, Frank.
Sure.
How do you find the balance? Because you're married. I don't know if you have any kids, but you're gigging, you're teaching a lot. How do you find that balance with music and the rest of life?
We don't have any children. Not humans ones anyway. You know, we have a dog and a cat. Yeah. And you just, sometimes you just have to stop and, put the sticks down and just go and take a walk in a park and enjoy the nature and just, go and see a Disney movie and laugh and cry. And so you have to find that within yourself. Obviously music and teaching and everything, it makes me very happy. It provides a way of life for us. And, I'm very thankful of it. I came to it a little later in life, like drumming. I only started my undergrad. I was 34 when I started my undergrad. Wow. So, and that was after, a lot of having jobs where I just, you get to a point and you just like, I can't do this anymore. Right. Sure. So you have to find other things that make you happy as well. Music makes me very happy. I like to go hiking. My wife and I, we like to go to Disney, and that, we just like to go and enjoy the atmosphere there. We're not, we have to go on this ride or that ride. We just like to go and walk and enjoy and eat. Yeah. We love food. We love to go eat. If you know Dom,
yeah, sure.
He loves to eat and he loves his wine and everything. So you have to find that balance. That, where you can walk away and go and find, your happiness. It gets, it does get hectic sometimes, because, teaching all week and then private lessons at night and then, gigging on weekends. And then, maybe, I'll be off on Sunday and it's just like, right. And then it starts all over on Monday. Right. So. Does your wife play as well? Can she be in the band? She does not. Okay. She is great. She'll carry my gear, for gigs. She's been doing it for years and years. Very cool. She's a librarian. Oh, wow. Cool. So she, she's always, okay, we need to do this, we need to do that. And anything, she's researching it till, to the nth degree. So. Sure. But no, she doesn't play. She used to play flute in school, but then again, a bad teacher turned her off from it. Yeah. So, and then she loves music. She loves to listen to music, and we have very different tastes in music as well. Sure. Where I like the 20-minute songs with 80,000 notes. She prefers the 2-minute song with 3 chords, and and that's great. Yeah. That's it's a good balance, and we love to go to concerts together. So, yeah. But yeah, she's my she's my manager, she's my chef, she's my roadie, she's so. Props to her then, right? That's really great. Yes, yeah. Exactly. She and she doesn't mind when she comes down here and goes, I don't remember seeing that snare drum before. It's like, yeah. New gear, right? Yeah, it just showed up. Right. What's the latest piece of gear? We won't tell her. It's only going to be on YouTube or Facebook. Nobody watches this anyway. So what's the latest piece of gear you got, Frank? The last piece of gear I got was the new Mapex Design Lab snare drums. Mm-hmm. It's the Heartbreaker. It's a mahogany shell. Wow. And actually, I am beta testing a new 2-ply drum head from Evans. Wow. So I'm going to, once we're done here, I'm going to throw that on there and put that through its paces. So. Very cool. And is this the snare drum, is this the Russ Miller, the new Russ Miller snare drum, or no? He had a hand in designing them. Got it. The Russ Miller one, that's the Versatis. Yes. I have one of those as well. Ooh, very cool. This was the one they debuted them at NAMM. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. Okay. And each one he was going for a distinct sound. So this one he wanted like a vintage sound, and this one he wanted like a studio sound. So It's 14 by 6 or 6.5. So it's all mahogany shell with reinforcement rings, and it's it's warm. It's fat, so it's and I'm really interested to see what this new 2-ply head from Evans is gonna do on that. So
yeah, that sounds great. Amazing. Okay, so then lastly I mean, you are clearly musicians. You can play a lot of, I'm just a drummer, so you've got the real deal going on here. What are you working on, whether on the drums still or any other instrument?
I'm always trying to keep my chops up on all the instruments that I teach with the kids. So, whether if I'm at school giving lessons, I'll have the instrument, and, I'm just trying, to make sure that their musicianship, that I'm not passing on any kind of bad habits to them. So it's, it's always, posture and embouchure and breathing and those kinds of things, with the drum students, I'm the worst. Because it's like, this and that, because I'll be burning paradiddles, and they'll be like, how do you do that? And I'll be like, you want to know the secret? There is no secret. You need to practice. As far as drumming goes, especially with my Symmetrical, I'm always trying new things. And, trying to open myself up more and working on, my own independence and doing different things as far as that goes. Still trying to, get better at the piano as well, because, I'm a very, very novice composer. And the piano's basically, it's an orchestra. Yeah. So if you can do things on there, I would love to be able to play Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue on the piano. I don't see that happening anytime soon, but
it's a goal.
Yes, yeah. Exactly.
Got to have goals. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really great. Amazing. This has been a lot of fun, Frank. People, call this man for lessons, frankperrymusic.com. Frank Perry, thank you so much for being on Musicians on the Record today.
Thank you, David, for having me. And this has been great, and I love your little dog back there too.
That's Bob, by the way. Yeah, we've got cats and dogs as well. So
okay.
Yeah, Bob's just been napping in the back. So.